Hey guys, in this video we're going to talk a little bit about circles, okay? Now a circle, by definition, is pretty much the set of all points that are equidistant from a center, okay? So what that means is if we were to measure the distance from the center to any point on our circle, they would be the same distance away, okay? So if one of these lengths is 2 meters, the other ones are also 2 meters, and from any point on the circle to the center is going to be 2 meters. Now, a circle has different parts that are important for you to know, okay? So the first thing is, let's talk a little bit about the perimeter of our circle. Okay, we've talked about perimeter before, and the perimeter of a circle is given a name, and that name is called the circumference, okay? Circumference. That is the perimeter of our circle. Now, the distance between the center and any point on the circumference is called the radius. And the last thing you need to know here is that the distance from one point on the circumference through the center of our circle to another point on the circumference. So here we have pretty much the line that goes through the center of our circle. That is called our diameter. The straight line going through the center of our circle from one part of the circumference to the other. Now, take very close notice that the diameter and the radius are related. The diameter is twice the radius. In other words, 2 radii, which is half the distance from the center to a point on the circumference, 2 of those radii make up the diameter. Okay? So with that being said, there are formulas for finding these different things. So the formula for finding the radius is a half of the diameter. The diameter is twice the radius. The circumference, to find the circumference of a circle, the formula is going to be 2 pi r. Now pi is not a variable. Pi is a constant, and it's approximately 3.14, and it goes on. But we are going to use the value 3.14 to represent pi. Okay, so when we're doing or finding the circumference, it's going to be 2 times pi, which we said is 3.14, times whatever our radius actually is. All right, and then finally, to find the area, it's going to be pi r squared. And just a reminder, pi, again, is approximately 3.14 in this video and for our problems, okay? And so if I'm going to rewrite it, it's going to be 3.14 times our radius squared. And let's expand it a little bit further. It'll be 3.14 times a radius squared is simply saying the radius times the radius, okay? So we're going to use these formulas in the next few slides to find the radius, diameter, circumference, and area of our circle. So here we're asked to find the radius of our circle. Now, recall, we just put the formula down. The radius is equal to a half the diameter. Okay, now taking a look at our circle, we are given this line that goes through the center of our circle. Now, I didn't indicate that it goes through the center, but it actually does, okay? So what that's telling me is that is the diameter. If the diameter is 12 centimeters, let's go ahead and plug it into our formula. R is equal to a half of the diameter, which is 12 centimeters. So therefore, our radius is going to be 6 centimeters. You can play it again if I missed you along the way. Let's move on. The diameter of a circle. Now, we know that the radius and diameter are related. Radii, or the radius, is a half of the diameter. So that means the diameter is twice the radius. And we wrote that formula down earlier. So diameter is equal to 2 times the radius. Remember, by definition, the radius is the distance from the center to any point on our circumference. So our radius is 4 inches. So diameter is equal to 2 times 4 inches. And that's going to be 8 inches. And this is our diameter. Here we're asked to find the circumference of a circle. Now we're going to do the first one. The formula for finding the circumference of a circle is circumference is equal to 2 pi times the radius. Remember that pi is approximately 3.14. And our radius, of course, by definition, is the distance from the center to any point on the circumference. So the 2.8 meters is actually our radius. So we're going to plug it into our formula. C is equal to 2 times 3.14 times the radius, which is 2.8 meters. And your answer should be 17.58 meters. In our second example, we are given 14 centimeters, and this is representing our diameter. This is the length between one point on our circumference and the other that goes through the center of our circle. Our formula for circumference, C is equal to 2 pi r. Our radius, remember, is half the diameter. Radius is equal to 1/2 the diameter. The diameter is 14 centimeters, so 1/2 of 14 centimeters. And that's going to be 7 centimeters. This is our radius, and that is the value that we're going to plug into our formula for finding the circumference of this circle. C is equal to 2 times pi, remember, is a constant that is approximately 3.14, times the radius, which is 7 centimeters. And our value, or our answer, should be 87.92 centimeters. Now, let's talk about the area of a circle, which is the final part of this video. Now, the formula for the area of a circle, area is equal to pi r squared. Now, we can go ahead and plug in the values that we have. Pi is 3.14 times r squared. Now, our radius, as I've repeated many times before, is the distance from the center to any point on the circumference. And the value, or the length, is 2.8 meters. So 2.8 meters squared would be 2.8 meters times 2.8 meters. Okay? Now, we're going to go ahead and plug that into your calculator or into your brain, and your value, or your answer, should be 24.62 meters squared, because we're multiplying two units by one another. So, or the same unit by itself. In the second example, we're going to start with the formula again. Area is equal to pi r squared. And it's just a reminder that pi is a constant, and r squared just simply means the radius times itself twice, okay? Now, in the example here, we have been given the distance from one point on the circumference to another point on the circumference, the straight line distance that passes through our center. So that is going to be our diameter. So our diameter, remember, is going to be, well, the relationship between our radius, because that's what we're actually trying to find, and diameter. Our radius is going to be 1/2 the diameter. So the diameter is 12 centimeters. So our radius is then going to be 6 centimeters. And that's what we're going to plug into our formula. So area is equal to pi, which is 3.14 approximately, times 6 centimeters, times 6 centimeters. And when we plug that into our formula, into our calculator, 3.14 times 6 is equal to 113.04 centimeters squared.